Hi, this is James from Tabletop Gaming Guild, and today we're going to take a look at Disco Heist Laundry. This game here is going to be published by Rock Banner Games. It's been on Kickstarter. You can now late pledge it. Now, a little backstory on this. We had a really hard time making this video. I had to print out new tiles. I had to put in new components, and it has nothing to do with the fault with Rock Banner Games. This game went through several other reviewers, and when it was shipped to me, it was heavily damaged. And I didn't even receive it because of a series of unfortunate events out of my control and out of Rock Banner Games' control. I didn't even receive this until the campaign was over. But I did, going through all that, getting all the parts in there, I did enjoy the game. And I did want to put something out here, just, you know, even though I don't know how much it's going to help because it's after the campaign, but I did like it enough that I wanted to just do a really whatever I can for a brief idea of what comes in this game and my thoughts in general. So we're going to get onto the table here. I'm just going to show you whatever I can for the base game there. Just keep in mind that some of the components are just, I don't have. So I used other stand-ins, and I tried to keep with what prototype components I had as much as possible. Some of the stuff's printed. It's a prototype. Stuff subject to change. It's not going to be what you get with the final campaign. Just keep that in mind. Let's go ahead down the table here. I'll give you a super high overview of the game, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to give you my final thoughts. All right, so we're going to show Disco Heist here. And Disco Heist is a game for 2 to 4 players about planning and executing the perfect heist in 1980s Las Vegas. Put together a crew of crooks, dodge and the fuzz, shake down the city, and launder your money so you can skip town and retire to a tropical island. This is definitely 1980s style. The winner is the player who has the most laundered cash at the end of the game, as you earn cash by exploiting your crew's ability, shaking down the city and completing heist and controlling the city overall. So this game here, just to point a couple things out, again, this is a prototype. Again, this is a game that I got after the Kickstarter finished, and this has gone through a couple different reviewers. So some things are damaged in here. I had to replace some components, I had to glue some stuff together. So again, can't overemphasize that this is not the final components for the game. Do not judge the game on any of these components. They're going to be subject to change by the Kickstarter and the finalization of the game as it goes out afterwards. So keep that in mind. That's really important there. Now, this game itself is going to be, you're going to do 2 different modes that you can have available in this game. You can have the crime spree or the criminal empire. So in the crime spree, which I just have enough components for in this game, but note that it is available in the final version, the crime spree is going to be 3 heists, which is what I have available here, and the criminal empire will let you do 4 heists, so you can have an even longer game there. And this is going to be a general setup of the game. The most important things I wanted to point out here is that you do get like an asymmetric starting hand based on the kingpin that you pick. So there's a different set of cards for each kingpin. And with this prototype, there's a decent amount of kingpins available to play in the game. And a couple things to note about these kingpins is you have like a once in the game ability here. You have your starting resources out there, their movement. So for example, this one that we're playing with here has a clip 'em move, which is you can remove, use a film, remove up to 2 of the your little criminal employees from your kingpin tile. So you can remove up to 2 of them. All right. You can also do a joint case with this, a hustle, and a parole. And you can go over those in a little bit. You also get a starting heist too. You're going to get the number of starting resources that it lists down below here. And you're going to put your standee that you get in the safe house to start the game. You're going to put out a cop here on the board in the precinct, and you're going to roll for the other one. You're going to have your scoring tokens out on the board there, and you're going to set up your deck of cards here where you're able to pick those up to improve your chances of performing these heists. And we're going to go, like I said, go through 3 acts here, and then at the end, the person with the most money, laundered money, is going to win. So I'm going to give a super brief overview here, but you're going to look at this and you're going to see the person with the least amount of money. And if there's a tie, the person on top is going to go first. So for the round, whoever is in the worst position is going to go first for the game. And then you're going to look at your hand of cards here. And these are the different things that you can play. You can pick one, deploy a criminal for you, or deploy 2 criminals and get yourself more wanted. So you're going to go up in this wanted level. And in this wanted level, you can see here where it says cops will arrest if any wanted party is on their space. But as you go further, cops will resist if any wanted party is on a visible adjacent space. And then closest cop always moves towards your kingpin is the final one. So you don't necessarily want to move up really quick on that wanted track, but you may want to get those 2 criminals out first and get more board state in there for later. And then you can do shakedown, and then you gain another wanted level. And those wanted levels are going to be negative at the end of the game for you, so keep that in mind also. There's one here you can do a shakedown, then you can go up the wanted level. So you have all these different cards you can pick from to do the different actions that are available in the game itself here. And just to clarify, this is the normal ability, but this is the exhaust effect. So you can exhaust your cards to be able to do this thing. But those are your starting stuff on there. And another thing is the things you're trying to launder are actually these little chips right here. You can convert these into money, which go in the track, but then these are lost as resources that you can't use during the game for other things. So you have to keep that in mind as you're going through and trying to see what you want to do versus what you get. Also, these should all be 1s, by the way, because he starts with 5. And these numbers on top here, these are actually not exactly what you think they are. These little things here are things that add to your laundering limit. So how many, so keep that. Well, let's go over a couple things for the card. So you have this here, which is the amount of money added to your laundering threshold limit. You have the criminal type icon, which this one doesn't have, but these guys do. So these are the criminal types, and they come into effect for certain things, so they keep those in mind. You also have the name, and so here's the name and the criminal type. 4 over here on these ones is going to be the cost to hire. So this guy right here, I only have 4 of these, so I can't hire them, but I could hire this safecracker. And this safecracker has a pretty good exhaust ability, which is heist, which is really good. So I may want to pick up the safecracker. And of course, they have the icon of the safe. And that might be a good one to start with. And then you have the plate effect, which is this thing right here. And then you, of course, have that exhaust effect. So to be clear here, you're going to look at these, and these are going to create your launder limit. So when I said you could do as many of these as you want, you actually can only do it to your launder limit. So right now I'm fine because I cover it, so I can do all those I want. But later on, I have to keep that in mind for my launder limit. So I super briefly explained some of the actions you can already do. Some of the movement actions on here you can break up, but you can move to these different locations on the board based on the movement on your character there. You can deploy. When you deploy, let's say this one's already out. And where's my kingpin here? Whatever, this is my kingpin. I can deploy a new one out to where I already have another one, or to where the kingpin is. And that's basically it for deploy. Heist, if you're at the location of the heist and you have the required resources, so if I was here, which is Dine and Dash, which is at the restaurant. So let's say, so the Dine and Dash restaurant here for my personal one is over here. And let's say I have that guy over there. And then I also have this one for my starting resource. So I actually have enough to do it. And then my benefits are going to be down in here. I'm going to go up 1 in the wanted level, and I'm going to set off an alarm. And then I have officially heisted that location. So a couple more for that. All right, so let's go over heisting. I put these things in the locations they need to be. So I'm actually going for the restaurant for my starting heist here. And I need to have the resources available to heist. So I need to have one of these gear tokens, which I do have. And I have to have a person there, criminal, which I also do have. And then I could take the heist action. So I have to have something like this exhaust ability here that lets me not hire, like this one right here that lets me do the heist. And then I'm ready to start that. So the complete heist can be set off to the side of your play area in a completed heist pile. So I completed this heist. I would have kept it, but now it's completed and it goes over here and it's going to be worth that much. Then test if you're assembled the right crew for the job by starting the counting up of the symbols of each type of card in your montage to call on extra crew to contribute to the heist. Your kingpin contributes the symbol on their passport if they are at the location. And you can ignore one setback for each matching symbol you have. Then for the remaining setbacks, you may spend additional film, so you can turn off the cameras and stuff here, to ignore more setbacks. And these are going to be your setbacks that you're going to potentially run into. The first alarm sets off the nearest cop patrol to your location. Each subsequent one activates the number of cops corresponding to the patrol at your location. So you can really get arrested really quick if you're pretty close to where a cop is. But if you can ignore some of those, and these ones are pretty easy, but these later on cards get a lot of setbacks on them, you're going to be okay. Now, one thing to keep in mind too is there's going to be barricades that you can place up into this game here too that can slow down the cops or your fellows there, but mainly to slow down the cops from getting to you. So that's one strategic thing you can do in the game itself. There's all sorts of different obstacles. So you also have these tokens here, which are snitches, which will turn you in and help the police get to you faster to keep around. You also have vehicles to help. You also will have the helicopter coming out, and that's going to make it really difficult for you to do stuff when that's around, because it's going to help the cops tremendously with capturing you. And as you can, I'm definitely not going all over all the different rules. I'm just highlighting some stuff in this game here. Hopefully just give you an idea how the setup worked and how your turns worked and how you're going to be deploying stuff. But one thing I do want to go over is arrests. If your kingpin is arrested, it's really bad. You're going to lose half of these. So that's a big loss for you. Then you're going to lose one of your wanted levels for every 5 of these you lost. So if you lost a large amount because you didn't launder them, or you couldn't launder them fast enough because you didn't have enough going here, you are going to get a benefit of, being less wanted. So it might be easier for you to pull off another heist in the future. If one of your criminals arrested, remove that criminal from the city and return it to your personal bank. Not a big deal. And you can actually grow this over the game. There's ways to gain more criminals to put in your personal bank to be able to deploy through those card abilities is basically what you want to do. All right, so after each of the acts, there's going to be a turf war. And turf wars are basically where you're going to compete to control locations on the board with your other criminals. You're going to follow basically the steps through here and resolve it. You are going to be removing criminals from the city. Each location tile with more than one player piece on it will be fought over. First, your kingpin removes one of each opposing color on their space. Then remove one of yours to remove one of each opposing color on the space. And then after that, you're going to check to see if you control anywhere. And if you do, you're going to gain some money. You're going to gain 2 money for each location you control. And then you're going to gain resources, or the game's going to end if it's the last turf war. So that's how these turf wars work. They're actually a really important part of the game. So there's basically two different flows to the game. The first flow is going to be where you're going to be doing all these heists. Then the second part is sort of like a mini area control, where you're trying to have enough in there that you're going to have a nice board state for the next act. Because you're going to gain stuff for that, but then you also want to keep some stuff, be able to have some stuff out there for the start of the next act so you can be in a better place. So there's a lot of different things to think about that. And I know I just went over this really quick. Again, this had a lot of missing components for us. So it was hard to get this all down, but I just wanted to show you the gist of it. Let's go ahead back up the table here, and I'll give you my final thoughts on this prototype. So that was Disco Heist Laundry. Really just super high overview of the game, not really getting into the nuancy rules on it, but hopefully they give you a general idea of like what the setup is and what you do in the game. I enjoyed playing the game. I said we were missing a lot of parts, and so I didn't get a full idea of the game itself, but what I did get to run through, I did like. I think I like a lot of the Rock Manor games. I think I really like this game. I can't wait to see the final copy of it. And like I said, even with all that, I did want to show something to you guys, to give you something to go off of for this. I would highly recommend that you, I put in the link down there in the show notes to the crowdfunding page so you can take a look at it. I highly recommend going through and watching their promo video and reading through that and seeing if it's for you. If you like the heist sort of games in here, I think this does a really good job of that. You have that random board set up on there, so it gives a lot of replayability with it. And all the bosses have a nice little asymmetric power to it. It's not like game-changing asymmetric power, but it is a nice asymmetric power for it. And it's really cool finishing off your passport too, seeing if you can do that and trying to balance everything out. And then not forgetting about those turf wars and be able to make sure that you're in a place for a good place for the next act. You do get some really cool bonuses for that, but really the big bonus is being on the board with your more pieces at the beginning of the next act. Overall, I think this was really well done. They're still going to streamline it and do other things before the game releases, upgrade the components and stuff, and Rock Manor Games does a really good with components. So overall, I think this is definitely one you want to check out on their crowdfunding page, and you can late pledge for it if you wish. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. If you like what we do, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out a lot. It helps us get more content out to y'all and all that fun stuff. But either way, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you for watching.